Good evening, all. And this evening, we want to discuss, as I said, not um, retort, not comment, not state, not bully, not force, not coerce, um, not nothing like that. We want to question and discuss, right? Question and discuss, right? We are questioning and discussing the concept of animal sacrifice within religion. Animal sacrifice within religion, and why is there a need to continue to perpetuate this tradition of animal sacrifice within your religion or my religion, right? Why is there a need to perpetuate animal sacrifice for certain events, occasions, things like that, as part of the traditions that we inherit in our religion, right? So this is not about doing away with religion, right? Because, like I said, there are beneficial aspects to religion, and atheism is not the solution either, right? I do believe that there is a creator, right? And many people do believe that. So forcing people into atheism and having technology control everything, that is a problem, right? That is a problem, right? So atheism, technology, all these things are not the solutions, right? The solution is rational and heart-centered conversation about issues that matter, right? That is what this is about, right? So we are discussing why is there a need to continue these traditions, right? Baseless, senseless traditions. Such like when somebody die in your home, and in the Hindu tradition you're not allowed to knock the board or the stairs or whatever, right? You're not supposed to nail any wood on the stairs and things like that, right? Those kind of nonsensical traditions. Or if somebody die, a female not allowed to go by the cremation site, right? These kind of things, or they're not going to, they won't get married forever. These kind of baseless, stupid ass traditions, right? We are, and I'm not saying to do away with the things that make sense, like your church service. If it is that your temple and church service brings you a sense of community, right? You could feel free to continue in that vein, right? Because there are beneficial aspects to religion, right? They are actually beneficial. Community is one aspect of that. So one of the things I realized that the sinister aspect of the world, the dark aspect of the world is doing, they are forcing people into isolation, right? I was part of that process. I have been part of that process, and sometimes I try to come out of the house just to get away from that. But that isolation thing, and since 2020, as with the COVID thing, we realized that as part of the agenda. The forced isolation situation is also part of certain religions. They want to force you, right? So everybody forced into isolation, and everybody will eventually, the negative impact of that will be seen, right? So I am actually encouraging people to continue with their practice of your community service, worships, wherever it is that bring you a sense of community, continue in that vein, right? Because the other agenda is actually a little bit more sinister. Anyway, we're talking about the animal slaughter within your religious tradition, right? And why we are still doing this, right? So one of the excuses that people use for this is, oh, I am going to kill this cow, right? I am killing this cow. I'm slaughtering this cow in a godly way because I am going to give charity, right? I am slaughtering this cow in a godly way. Listen to what I'm saying carefully. I am slaughtering this cow in a godly way because I need to give charity, right? Bullshit justification, right? I'm sorry to break it to you all, but it's not a fair justification. It's not a right justification, right? So you could actually give charity, as you all know, within our own ways of living, right? There are many ways you can give charity. You can give monetary donations. You can donate your clothes. You can donate an institution. You can donate tin food. You could donate money. You could donate wherever. You could set up systems for people to get water, you could do, there are many things you could help serve your community, you could do whatever, right? There are many, 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 many different ways of charity giving, right? There are many ways of giving charity. Killing a cow in a godly manner doesn't seem to be one of the things that I would consider right charity, right? So righteous charity, right? So like I was saying, this video is not for the world, it's for whoever want to come out of that system of belief, right? It's not for the world, because I can't stop people from doing their annual sacrifices and whatever. It is for the people who actually want to come out of that system of belief, right? So like I said, this video might I might step on some toes making this video. I might not, but I might, right? People might just consider it trash, and so be it, whatever, right? But it might hurt some people, right? But this is me offering what I think solutions to certain issues are, right? So like I said, there are many ways to give charity, right? So another thing that people do when they sacrifice animals, right, within your religion, I am sacrificing this animal, for example, in a temple, in a whatever institution, right, because I want to get all grade A's, right? I am sacrificing this animal because I want a new house, a new car, increased wealth, right? So we are asking the question, how does one explain a situation where people do not participate in those systems of practice, and they work their way up, right, without participating in doing those activities, or that form of worship, or that form of sacrificing, right? How do people who exist outside of that system of belief, how do they, and they come from poverty and so on, right? How do they actually make it in life, right? So that's a conversation, and like I say, it's not a saying coercion or anything like that. It's a conversation, right? Asking how do we make it in life, people who do not actually say participate in that form of sacrifice. Because like I say, everything, wherever you sacrifice, right, it goes to a particular energy form, right? It goes to a particular energy, right? So where do you want your energy to go is the question, right? Where do you want your form of sacrifice to go? Where do you want your, and a sacrifice of different nature. So that's one aspect, which I consider a dark aspect, right? And then there are light aspects to sacrifice as well. So sacrificing, like you giving of yourself in whatever way you're performing, whatever other righteous ritual ceremonies and whatnot, right? But I consider that animal sacrifice for the sake of God as a dark aspect, because it doesn't really belong to God, right? So these are just some of the things to consider in your daily life practice, right? Monthly life practice, weekly, annual, whatever, right? So as I was saying, align yourself with the material you read, and align the material you read with yourself. At the end of the day, it's about bringing harmony between the different aspects of yourself, right? It's about bringing harmony between the different aspects of yourself, right? People say that you need an equal, that there are people who say there's nothing like good or bad, right? I don't know how I really feel about that statement, because there are certain clear-cut things in my mind that are good versus bad. Good versus bad is forms of energy, right? It's forms of energy. So it's whatever you, as I say, want to give your energy towards, right? What do you want to give your energy towards in this life form, right? That's a question. So we'll continue this conversation. These videos are akin to like TikTok videos, but I removed myself from TikTok, and there are certain things there that I see that I just cannot unsee. and I removed myself from that platform, right? So anyhow, this video is 10 minutes long, trying to stick to 10 to 20 minutes long, right? So take care everybody, bye.